This video is about you. Yes, you specifically. I know you, you see. Okay, close your eyes for a second. Now, if you feel a bit reluctant or scared, that's completely fine. The creepy "I know you" voice would do that. But trust me, close your eyes for a second. Now look around and tell me what you see. You might use words like darkness or nothingness. I would describe it as peaceful infinity or eternity. I'm not confined in this space. There's no wall to my left or wall to my right. There's no ceiling or floor. There's no TV or phones or social media or money or work or ugly or fat or skinny. There's just peace. Now add a few million stars to this peaceful eternity, we've called it. Add planets, galaxies, and now zoom right into one of the planets. Let's call it Earth. Zoom right into it, all the way in to a delivery room in a hospital. And then you open your eyes into this world. Like everyone that's ever existed, we all open our eyes into this world, full of marvel and wonder, curious about everything around, including our own existence. Now, whether you open your eyes into riches or poverty, different regions of the earth, cultures, traditions, religions, we all came into this world with innocence, you and I. We came with nothing, on a journey to learn. Now your journey and the way you experience this life is dependent on the people around you and yourself. That's where you build the thing called character from. The people you open your eyes to, your family, friends, strangers, we learn from them. And how we treat each other determines the ease or difficulty of this journey we're all here to experience. Bearing in mind, we all opened our eyes the same way, with the same innocence, with the same curiosity, with the same marvel. Now you might be curious about what you're here for. Well, that's the big question, isn't it? But take a second and look around you, wherever you are. And everything you'll see, everything you'll find has a function. It has a purpose. It has something it does. And like everything around, you have a purpose as well. You have an addition to the whole. You have that one thing, or a few, that you're really good at. Whether or not you found it, we all have that. That one thing that makes us us. But there's one exception, you see. Art. Art is something created with imagination and skill, and that is beautiful. Created to be appreciated for its beauty and uniqueness. Now, the first ever artist creating everything also created you with perfection. So every swirl of the paintbrush, every freckle, mole, color, shape was all created to be appreciated, to be marveled at, to be adored by ourselves. Now you're created with such precision that no one else in eternity will ever be exactly like you. You're the only one of your kind. You're that unique painting. So show it off, show it to the world, celebrate it. Now, if everyone was the same color, same height, same look, same talent, that would be a painting with the same brushstrokes over and over and over again, with no difference in it. Our uniqueness is our portrayal of the rarest piece of art that will have ever lived. And caricature artists even aim to express those things that set you apart the most. To exaggerate it and show you, hey, this is your one thing. Show it off with confidence and pride. Celebrate it. The rarity of your art is for you to champion, because that art in itself serves a purpose in life to everyone who sees it, everyone who comes across you. So I know you see, because I am you. I feel the same fears. I feel insecurities like you. I have worries. I have habits and interests. I have laughs and joys. And from that peaceful eternity, I opened my eyes into this world just like you. I am you. Psst. What if I told you, you are the narrator? And you're narrating this story as we speak. Everything you are and everything that surrounds you is a product of your narration. Got your attention? Good. Let's talk about karma. Now, although the general understanding of karma is what goes around comes around, which isn't exciting enough. Karma is defined as the sum of a person's actions in this and previous states of existence, viewed as deciding their fate in future existences. Future existences implying multiple futures. Now, the sound of multiple futures or alternate realities can either excite or scare people. Let's imagine the next 10 seconds into the future now. And imagine the amount of possibilities and alternate realities that can occur in the next 10 seconds. I could get up from this chair and grab a snack. I could put on the TV and watch a movie. I could put my shoes on and go outside. I could exercise or do some yoga. I could write up a business plan. I could sit on the floor. I could go to the kitchen. I could stand up. There are countless amounts of possibilities and alternate realities that could happen in the next 10 seconds. And every single one of them create different parts, alternate realities, which then leads to a different future. Do you know which one I'll pick? Well, that's where free will comes in. Free will is the ability to choose between different possible courses of action. So when religion says God gave us free will to choose how we live our lives, well, there you go. If someone gives you a pen and asks you to write a movie about a person, what storyline would you give them? And say they go the extra step and tell you everything you wrote would manifest in reality. That you could literally write their life into existence. Well, most of us would call it magic. But magic, you see, and the origination of the word spell, as in to cast a spell, can be traced back to the word spellian, and then spelling, which is used to indicate writing or reciting. So just the mere act of writing down one's goals, having written manifestation of one's vision and where one wants to be, gives us that North Star to highlight the path for us. It makes every decision easier to make in alignment with that goal. Well, at that point, I guess you can call yourself a magician. So you see, you are the narrator, and whichever way you narrate it is how the story appears. So narrator, what are you gonna write next? Hey narrator, can I ask you a question? Who are you? Now, I don't mean the image you see of yourself in the mirror and identify with. Who are you? You might think to give me names now. Maybe where you're from. Or characteristics and traits used to describe yourself. But what if I told you you don't know who you are? A bit much? Okay. Let's talk about the past. I just said that. So I'll repeat. Let's talk about the past. I just said that. You see, with every second that passes, everything you know exists in the past. Everything you've said exists in the past. Everything you describe yourself with exists in the past. So, without using the past memory of yourself to describe yourself, who are you? That awareness taking place right now, that's called your consciousness, or your soul, your spirit, energy. Your consciousness is your awareness of yourself and the world around you. You see, the self is your being, your existence in this world. You are not just the self. You are simply experiencing life through the self. You are something bigger, something greater, something unimaginable. At least for the human mind. Let's use a single cell organism, for example. From that single cell forms skin, bones, eyes, heart, teeth, nails. In science, it's called the Big Bang. In religion, it starts with, "Let there be light." Everything in the universe is made of the same thing you are made of. And like the single cell organism, you are everything. So here's my question again. But this time, I'm not asking the self. Who are you? Hey narrator, how's the story going? The story your mind is telling as we speak. The image you see on screen exists as you see it only in your mind. Your eyes, coupled with your brain, creates the image you see. So, therefore, everything you see takes place in your mind. Everything you hear takes place in your mind. Everything you smell, feel, and experience all take place inside of you. Like a dream, you look around and see things, but your eyes are closed. You hear things, with no sound. You walk around and interact, all whilst you lay asleep in your bed. The storyline in your dream is almost always out of your control. You just seem to appear in it. Now, unlike your dream, life is your story. You are the protagonist, the center of it. Everything revolves around your perspective and how you experience it. And here's the fun part. You get the director's chair in this story. Here's how. Are you aware that you're breathing? Well, now you probably are. You can even control it. Then, just stick it back on autopilot. You see, like your breath, your mind is almost always on autopilot. It runs on previous knowledge of yourself, previous behaviors, characteristics, attitudes, thinking, identity. It learns by repetition, you see, which then becomes second nature, your autopilot. So unless you flip the script, your mind will keep recreating the same scenes over and over and over and over and over again. Now, whether you want this story to be an action, comedy, adventure, romance, thriller, or horror, this is your story. You get to decide. So, narrator, hey narrator, I want to introduce you to someone. The voice in my head. Say hello to my analytical mind, my own personal lawyer. So, if you came up to me and said, "Hey Toba, do 200 push-ups," I'd say, "Speak to my lawyer." Then my lawyer comes in. "Well, why do I need to do 200 push-ups? Why should I listen to you? I can do 200 push-ups, I'm just not in the mood. Who are you to tell me what to do?" And on and on and on. My lawyer's job is to defend my actions, whether good or bad. It uses every information it knows about me in my defense, until it wins the case. Now granted, I don't need to do what you tell me. But even the things I wish to do. There he is again. Alright, time to do some exercise. Exercise on an empty stomach. You can get lightheaded and pass out doing that. That's dangerous. Oh, that's true. Let me grab breakfast first. Oh, alright then, here we go. Well, now your stomach is full. You don't want to throw up, do you? You need to relax a bit. Just sit down. Sit down. You know you've got this thing to do, and that thing to do, and that other thing to do. Why don't you just exercise in the evening instead? Remember, you are going to do yoga in the evening as well. So you could just exercise right after the yoga and then take a shower and head to bed. Oh, that makes sense, doesn't it? Sounds logical. My lawyer is very cunning. It makes logical decisions based on all its knowledge about me. But when evening comes, my lawyer is still at work. My friend, your body feels a bit tired. You've done a lot today, you know. Oh, you exercised yesterday. So today is your rest day, technically. Even professional bodybuilders suggest that you have to have rest days to let the muscle heal. You don't want to overload it now, do you? Oh, that's true. I guess today was my rest day all along. So much so that it convinces you that you're making the best decision. Well, how about yoga then? Okay, why don't you set your alarm, wake up early in the morning, do the yoga, and then exercise? Perfect. Thanks, lawyer. I'll see you tomorrow. Case dismissed. Now, most people think the thoughts are theirs, but it's not. That is your analytical mind, the rogue lawyer. But once you can separate yourself from the thoughts, you create the opposition. Then you can give the lawyer a better objection. So, narrator, what's your lawyer been saying? Hey narrator, let's talk about the elephant in the room. A metaphor, of course, for life, God, the universe, Allah, Yahweh, Shiva, Jehovah, truth, oneness. When you hear the word God, what comes to mind? God? What, Magic Sky Daddy upstairs? Please. I had an image, you see. Now, I didn't have a physical one. I had an image in my head, an idea. Magic Sky Daddy, which immediately put me off every time I heard the word God, which so happens to be one of the commandments. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. So instead, I looked to science, the Big Bang, evolution, and the universe. I believed in things like chance, coincidence, randomness, spontaneity, and nature. Now, if you told me those were all names of God, I would have disagreed. Because my understanding of God was limited by the image I held on to. Magic Sky Daddy. If I asked you whether this glass was half empty or half full, what would you say? Well, you could only give two answers, either half empty or half full. But notice the glass cup and the water aren't in question. It's our perspective that's in question. Your answer would not deny the water in the glass, it simply gives your view. So, if you observe random coincidences and someone else observes perfect synchronicity, the observed is not in question. Your understanding of the observed is what's in question. Your perspective. Now, whether you choose to call the observed God or nature, fate or chance, karma or coincidence, we speak of the same, you see, of that which is greater than us, that which we have no control over. From the motion of the universe to the motion of our planet, the motion of the sun, the wind, the sea, the earth, to the very same motion inside of you. That which makes you fall to your knees in awe and marvel and wonder and adoration. That which you submit to. That is who I call God. Hey narrator, still on the topic of the elephant in the room. Here's a parable of the blind men and the elephant. This story starts with a group of blind men who have never seen an elephant before. So they try their best to understand what the elephant is like by touching it. Now each of them feel a different part of the elephant's body, with one touching the side of the elephant and another touching the leg, another touching the tail, and another the tusk, and the last the trunk of the elephant. They then all come to describe the elephant based on their limited knowledge and understanding of the elephant. Not surprisingly, their descriptions of the elephant were different from each other. The moral of this parable being, humans have a tendency to claim absolute truth based on their limited subjective experiences, as they ignore other people's limited subjective experiences. which may equally be true. The one thing in this story they all agree on being the elephant, one God. Not realizing that oneness was the objective all along. First, we have to understand the use of metaphors and formulaic language in the scriptures that guide us to the one. Then we won't divide the message of one into many. There's a proverb in my country which goes, "Ọmọ tí ò bá ti rí oko ẹlòmíràn, á ní oko bàbá òun ló tóbi jù." A child who has never ventured out of his father's farm will say, "My father has the biggest farm." I was raised a Christian, you see, and on my venture out, my mom told me not to. Why? "I fear you will get lost," she said. "I don't know how strong your faith is." But life, you see, is all about learning. And from the minute you've opened your eyes into this world, everything you know, you've learnt. And everything you don't know, you haven't learnt. And fear of the unknown, you see, is the beginning of wisdom. So, narrator, on your venture out, don't be scared.